Hi Stephanie, how are you today?
Hi, I'm not so good.
Oh, what's been going on?
Well, so my son was recently diagnosed with a disorder, and my husband has been in denial, and that has caused friction between us, and it's caused a lot of fights, and we're just not on the same page.
Okay, how old's your son?
He's 10.
And what is the disorder that he has?
Executive functioning disorder. He's not. So my son, it doesn't. I don't know how to put it. Like he's not understanding things, and he distorts them.
Okay.
So like if you give him an instruction or you're explaining something to him, when it reaches his ears, he hears something completely different, or he just hears certain key words.
Okay.
And my husband doesn't seem to realize that. So my husband will give my son advice, but my son will only hear like one or two things, which can be a problem.
What kind of advice has he been giving him?
So, like for example, I told my kids to clean their room. My son, he was just laying about. He didn't want to clean. Um, Again, just and I believe it's part of the disorder where he's just. I have to keep trying to motivate him. Just clean up, just pick up, just pick up. And my daughter will go. He shares a room with my daughter, and my daughter's cleaning up all her stuff, and she helps him by putting all his stuff in a pile, so that all he has to do is just whatever's in that pile, put it away. He would come out. He'll sit on the sofa in the living room, and when she comes out of the room, she's like, "Are you done cleaning?" And he's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Okay, so all the stuff that's on the floor, is that going to the garbage?" And he's like, "Yeah." So she's like, "Okay." So she'll pick it all up, show him, and like pretend put it in the garbage, which creates a problem because now he starts screaming and crying and like, "Oh, that's my stuff." And then he says, when I ask him what happened, he tells me that he told her only to throw her stuff away, but that didn't happen. So somehow it all got distorted. So he says that she never asked that, like he thought it was just her stuff and that it was her stuff she was throwing away. And so when my husband came and got involved, he was explaining to him that if he needs to clean, and if he doesn't clean, things can be thrown away. And he started giving advice such as, if somebody does things to you, you do it back. Like, don't let yourself be like a pushover.
Okay.
Like at school, if somebody's pushing him or hitting him or something, basically an eye for an eye. Or I don't know if that's the saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay. So he tells my son that, which to me it's more destructive than good, because he distorts things, like he doesn't fully grasp that. So after that whole lecture that my husband gave him, fast forward to the next day, um, my son and my daughter are fighting. I step in, what's going on? My son's trying to throw my daughter's paintbrushes away. And they were put away in storage where my daughter has her stuff. Why are you touching the paintbrushes? I'm asking him, what's going on? Oh, Papi said I could throw her stuff away, so she threw my stuff away.
Okay.
You see, like this is the problem. So now I go and I have a talk with my husband, but he's not getting it. He says that he has to tell him, and all these things, and I don't understand. How do I put this? I'm getting frustrated because I don't know how to explain to him that we have to be very careful and choose our words carefully, because he's not grasping things as someone else without the disorder, you know? Like, he's not grasping it. He'll find little things and say, but you told me this. And in his mind, it's true. Like, you told me this, you know, because he's not getting the entire conversation. It's not reaching him. So, I don't even know where to go from here. Like,
So it's putting a strain on your relationship?
yeah. So, we had a fight because he did that, and I was trying to calmly explain to him that he can't say things like that. Like he has to really be careful, choose his words wisely, and you cannot tell a kid with this disorder like an eye for an eye, stuff like that. Like, because all they hear is, "Oh, I'm allowed to hit you," or "I'm allowed to do this because you did." Like, basically, it gave him permission. It gave him the green light. Okay, go. And then also another issue is I'm having is with him and I being in isolation. One thing that came out during our fight was my husband told him to stop crying, that he has to man up, and he doesn't want him coming to him with complaints or anything anymore. And I told him, why would you say that? I'm trying to get him out of the room. I'm trying to get him to come to me, to talk to me. You know, that's one of the things that we're trying to bring out of him. Why are you telling him that he can't come? Because he's going to take it as both of us. You know, your dad, and since your dad, he'll project it to me also, because we're supposed to be a partnership. You know, we're mom and dad, we're a team. So I want him to come out of his room. I want him to come out of his shell. I want him to come talk to me, because that's also what, you know, the school therapist says, is we need, you know, start trying to get him, talk to him. But on the, how can I do that if you're telling him, don't come to me with complaints, don't come to me with tattletales, don't come to me with this, don't come to me with that. You know, man up, stop crying, you know. So it's basically the gist of it. So just like, I don't even know what to do anymore.
Have you asked him what his thoughts about your son having this disorder is? Or does he fully understand what's going on in his head?
I've tried to explain it to him. I believe he's in denial. I've talked with him about it. I've tried to explain what it is. He'll just make jokes, you know, like brushing it under the rug, like ha 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 ha. Like it's just because how would he say it? Like, he doesn't say it in front of him or anything, but he'll be like, haha, no, it's just because he doesn't listen, or haha, it's just because he's a little dumb kid, or you know, like something like brushing it off, like, he should, you know, basically saying that he's a kid who doesn't, or whatever, you know, like he's not taking it seriously, like this is a disorder. He's just like, no, it's just because he's whatever, you know.
So he's minimizing
Yeah.
the situation.
Yeah.
And is your son getting any sort of treatment for the disorder?
Yes. I have taken him to a counseling center, and I've also taken him to get tested at his school, and also his pediatrician, and he is receiving help. You know, but right now I feel like I'm alone in this because I can't get my husband on board. And you know, what do you do when you're trying to seek treatment, but your husband is basically putting up walls? You know, like,
That must be so frustrating.
it is, it's horrible, because it's like, how can we expect to move forward or get any better if you're over here saying, don't come to me, don't talk to me, and then basically telling him, okay, if somebody does something to you, you can do it. How does that even work? Because the situation didn't warrant it, you know? It was something that was completely misinterpreted. So, you know, my concern now is he's going to take that to the school. And if a kid accidentally pokes him or something, guess what? He could turn around and do the same thing back to the kid. Because daddy said it was okay. Daddy said, if you do it to me, I can do it to you.
Have you sat down with your son and tried to go over what his dad has talked to him about, and how you feel or how you want him to come to you?
It's difficult because he doesn't grasp everything that is being told to him.
Mm.
And so I have talked with him, and that was basically the summary he told me is, yeah, he said that I could do this, and so I told him, you do realize that you can't do that, that's not okay, but it's like me trying to erase what was told, and it's hard when like, because like I said, it's not like speaking to another kid who doesn't have this disorder. It's like as if my husband wrote with permanent ink and I'm trying to erase it.
Okay.
It's hard. So now it's like I'm trying to write over that. So now it's confusing for him. And that's what my husband doesn't understand, because now I'm trying to backtrack, trying to erase, trying to redirect, and trying to make him aware and push him in another direction. So it looks like mommy and daddy are not on the same page. And I'm going like this, trying to push him this way, but he's being pushed this way by his dad. So it's really frustrating and hard, because he only gets like certain keyword, like he only hears certain keywords. Like when I'm talking to him, he's looking at me, but I know he's not listening.
That's gotta be hard with your husband already telling him this, who's already a little bit over here, so just to bring him all the way back would have to be a lot of work. And you don't want to start a war within the family over whose mom said this, dad said this.
Exactly. And then with someone with that disorder, it just creates confusion, because he's like, mom saying this, dad saying this. Who do I listen to, or do I just do both, or do I just pick one, or what do I, It starts creating all these what's in his mind, like what do I do, who do I listen to, it's difficult, and then so I don't even know how to go about explaining to my husband anymore, because I've tried, but like I said, he just brushes everything under the rug.
Has this created any conflict with you and your husband, not surrounding your son, but in other areas?
No, I would say not really. It's just mostly when it comes to parenting, I guess we both have different ideas, and that's mostly where the conflict is you know um, I guess it's a power struggle, I guess you could say. It's like I'm trying to tell him, like, I'm right, this is how it should be, but he's not also like trying to say, no, I'm right, I'm his dad, so this is how it is. So it's a constant power struggle, with our parenting, I guess you could say.
Alrighty, so he said he's getting help at the counseling center, tested at school. Maybe, have you thought about, has it always been you that has brought your son to these appointments?
Yeah.
Do you think maybe you could bring your husband along so he could really get the grasp that this is real, something your son is struggling with? Or even get more information so he really understands what's happening?
Yeah, I'll try. I mean, I've asked him. He hasn't made an effort, because, like I said, I think he's in denial. But he does have a doctor's appointment coming up where they're gonna do some more testing on him. So I'm gonna. I mean, there's no hurt in trying, right? I mean, I could try and ask him again and see if he's willing to come with me to the doctor's appointment and at least take half a day off of work to see if that'll help.
I think that's a good start.
Yeah.
At least put his foot in the door to start being able to understand.
Yeah, because I do feel if he does have an outside view instead of just me, you know, because I know he'll probably think, oh, it's his wife nagging or something. But I think it could be really beneficial if he hears it from the doctor.
So you want to do that?
Yeah, I'll try to do that, and then I'll let you know
His
what
appointment soon?
happens. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have an appointment in the next 2 days.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So do you want to do that and then we can meet next week?
Yeah, sounds good.
Alright.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
listening to me.
Of course.